Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, GWT family, wherever you are in the world. This is Diplomat Sebastian Jimenez from Ontario, Canada, and I am excited about our call tonight. Tonight we have someone very special leading the call, Regional Ambassador Lior Skaler. For those of you who do not know Lior, Lior's organization now spans more than 30 countries worldwide, and his passion as a full-time professional networker allows him to make a difference in many people's lives around the world. He is empowering people all over the world to achieve their financial and time freedom dreams. Lior has been blessed to win many leadership awards, including the Elite Leadership Award, the #1 USA Income Earner Award, #7 on the world's top income earner list, the Worldwide Business Growth and Leadership Award. He was nominated as one of MLM's top mentors, and Lior has also won GWT's highest award, the President's Cup, along with being on the CEO's advisory as a shareholder. So tonight, family, Lior will be speaking about the art of success. These are leadership principles from one of the most renowned coaches in the entire history of sports, the late and great basketball coach John Wooden. Team, you're in for a great training tonight, so get out your notebooks and prepare for one of the best trainings of the year. Mr. Skaler, do we have you on the line?
Thank you so much for that incredible edification and hosting. Sebastian, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lior Skaler, your host for the Sunday night training. And I am revved up, I'm pumped. I see people here from many different countries all over the world. I see we have people from Australia, from Germany, Europe, we have Asia, Hong Kong, the Caribbean, United States, of course, Canada, people logging in all over the world to get trained with their business to make sure that they are successful and have all the tools and skills that they need for success. Well, today I've got a training prepared for everybody regarding the art of success, which is going to be leadership principles from the one of the most successful, winningest coaches in basketball history. His name is John Wooden, who passed away in 2010. He was an American basketball player, and he was a coach as well. He was the first person to ever be inducted in the Hall of Fame as both a coach and a basketball player as well. Once he set that bar, only two other people ever achieved that in the history of basketball. He won 10 national NCAA championships in a 12-year period, 7 in a row, which has never been done before. All right, 7 out of 12 years he won 7 in a row. All right, imagine winning a championship once. Imagine winning a championship twice, but not even winning them, but doing it one after the other, 7 in a row. That's just incredible within this time period. Within this time period, his teams won a record 88 consecutive games. Imagine winning 88 games in a row. All right, that's incredible. He was named National Coach of the Year 6 times. All right, this man is one of the most incredible coaches and one of the most incredible players that's ever been in the game of basketball. And as you can see on the next slide, as I'm showing you right here, Mr. Wooden created success principles on leadership. And what you're looking at right now is his pyramid of success, which is pretty funny because sometimes we get asked if what we do is a pyramid or is it a pyramid, and now you can proudly say, yes, I am in a pyramid of success, and either you're in the pyramid or you're out. All right, if you're in the pyramid, you can be successful, and I can help you to become successful, because after this training, ladies and gentlemen, you will have the leadership skills and the leadership principles that you need to be a successful leader and to have a team growing all around the world. So this is John Wooden's leadership principles. And as you can see his quote in the top right corner, success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing that you made the effort to become the best of which you are capable. So if you do everything that you can to become the best to your abilities, you will have a peace of mind that results from that, okay? Because that is very satisfying. So what we're going to be discussing today is John Wooden's Pyramid of Success, his success principles as you see in the pyramid, and we're also going to be discussing his 12 lessons in leadership, all right? So anybody on this call, if you're interested in being a leader, if you're interested in having a huge organization, and if you're interested to understand the skills that you need to create unprecedented breakthrough results in your organization, this training is going to create that for you, okay? So let's get started with Wooden's Pyramid of Success. So the first principle is enthusiasm, okay? Your energy and enjoyment, drive and dedication will stimulate and greatly inspire others, okay? Enthusiasm is one of the most important skills that you can create in your organization. It's one of the most powerful cornerstones. Simply put, you must love that which you do. Your heart must be in it. Without enthusiasm, you cannot work up to your fullest ability and potential. You're just going through the motions. And just going through the motions won't bring you to the level of competitive greatness we seek, whether in basketball, business, or life. If you don't like what you're doing, knocking it all the time, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Don't whine, complain, and continually make excuses. Just don't do it. Maybe you can't leave it immediately, today, right now, but understand you must eventually stop doing it. Why? Because if your heart's not in your work, you cannot prepare and perform at your highest level. Enthusiasm brushes off on those with whom you come into contact, those you work with and for. You must have enthusiasm, especially if you're a leader or wish to become a leader. So as the cornerstone of success, these two essential and irreplaceable qualities that you need to put in place are industriousness and enthusiasm. You must be willing to work hard to be industrious. You must join that with enthusiasm. Separately, each is powerful in its own particular way. Joined together, they become a force of almost unimaginable force. They power all that follows in success. Industriousness and enthusiasm are the engines of your success. And if you are a leader who possesses them, you will instill industriousness and enthusiasm in those under you by your example, okay? So how this pertains to what we do is, as our CEO and founder, Ramin Misgarlu, always says, light yourself on fire with enthusiasm and people will come from miles to see you burn, okay? Everything that you do, from speaking to your team, from making phone calls, from approaching people on the street, from your self-talk in your own mind, you need to say everything with enthusiasm. Because once you start to do that, the people around you will see you as somebody different than who they knew you as. And because they see you as different, they will start to relate to you differently. And they will start to want to become a part of your circle. And they will want to be around you, because your enthusiasm will rub off on every single person that you speak to and touch. And you will find that your sphere of your sphere of people around you and your network will start to grow and grow and grow, and you will wonder why. And the reason why is because your enthusiasm is inspiring others. Moving on to the next level in the pyramid of success is cooperation. Have the utmost concern for what's right rather than who's right. Okay? Focus on what's right rather than who's right. In order to reach the full potential of the group, there must be cooperation at all levels, working together in all ways to accomplish the common goal. And to get cooperation, you must give cooperation. You are not the only person with good ideas. If you wish to be heard, listen. Always seek to find the best way rather than insisting on your own way. All of this requires cooperation. It allows individuals to move forward together, to move in the same direction instead of going off in different directions. 10 strong field horses could not pull an empty baby carriage if they worked independently of each other. Regardless of how much effort they exerted individually, the carriage wouldn't budge without their mutual cooperation. Cooperation, the sharing of ideas, information, creativity, responsibilities, and tasks, is a priority of good leadership. The only thing that is not shared is blame. A strong leader accepts the blame and gives the credit, when it's deserved, to others. A weak leader gives blame and takes credit. Be careful when you, the leader, start taking bows for the accomplishments of your organization. You must derive pride not from the accolades of outsiders, but from the efforts and achievements, the success of your team, and the accolades that it receives. Very, very important when you are a leader to make sure that you acknowledge and that you recognize your team for their accomplishments, because you would not be having the success that you're having if your team was not doing what your team needs to be doing in order for you to have that success. Okay? And again, taking responsibility in this business for things that don't go right, instead of pointing the blame and pointing the fingers at other people, is what a good leader does. And that's why you win, and that's why you win championships. The next point that we need to talk about in terms of leadership is loyalty. Loyalty means be true to yourself and be true to those that you lead. Okay? With regards to loyalty, what you want to do is loyalty is part of a human being's higher nature. It is also part of the nature of great teams and those who lead them. The power of loyalty is the reason it is in the center of the Success Foundation. It is impossible to be a good leader without loyalty to your organization, your team. Just as it is impossible to be a good citizen without loyalty to your country. You must, of course, have the courage to be loyal to those you lead. Doing so is not always easy. It starts, however, with loyalty to yourself. Your standards, your system, your values. Compromising them, especially under the banner of expediency, is disloyalty, personal betrayal of yourself. To thine own self be true, Polonius advised his son Laertes in Hamlet. I cannot improve on Shakespeare, but just to expand on it slightly, first, do not betray yourself. Second, do not betray those that you lead. This is loyalty. A leader who has loyalty is the leader whose team I wish to be a part of, and so do others. Most people, the overwhelming majority of us, wish to be in an organization whose leadership cares about them, provides fairness and respect, dignity and consideration. Do so, and you find loyalty in abundance from those you lead. And you will subsequently lead an organization that will not waffle in the wind when things get tough. Loyalty is the most precious and powerful commodity within an organization, and it starts with the leader who knows what loyalty means. Okay? So that's a very powerful skill to have in terms of leadership. Moving on to the next skill is friendship. Strive to build a team filled with camaraderie and respect, comrades in arms. Now, friendship does not necessarily mean what you may think that it means in terms of friendship, okay? You may question the role of friendship in the context of leadership. Is it wise for a leader to become friends with those under his or her leadership? Will friendship hinder correct decision-making, when hard choices are called for? I believe there are various kinds and degrees of friendship based on a wide range of appreciations. We may have an acquaintance with whom we are friendly because of a shared interest in politics or sports. Another whose humor we enjoy. Some may be golfing, bowling, or fishing buddies. Perhaps we have an old friend from high school whom we haven't seen in 20 years. All are friends in different and good ways, but not in the way that we mean friendship in this context. The two qualities of friendship important for a leader to possess and instill in team members are respect and camaraderie. These are the most noteworthy characteristics of true friendship as it pertains to leadership. Camaraderie is a spirit of goodwill that exists between individuals and members of a group. In other words, comrades in arms. Think of how much you'll give when asked to do so by someone who you respect, with whom you share camaraderie. You'll give plenty, everything that you've got. Those under your leadership will do the same if you show them this part of yourself. So therefore, these two particular qualities of friendship have to be in your relationship with individuals, okay? It doesn't mean that you have to become buddies, but mutual respect and camaraderie strengthen your team. Affection, in fact, may weaken it by causing you to play favorites. Where camaraderie and respect exist, you will find the makings of a formidable organization. This is why friendship is in the foundation of the principles of success. The next skill that we are going to be referring to is industriousness, okay? Industriousness means that success travels in the company of very hard work. There is no trick and there is no easy way. Industriousness in plain language means that you have to work and you have to work hard. There is no substitute for work, none. Worthwhile things come only from real work. Tiger Woods, the famous golfer, Peyton Manning, famous football player, as important as their physical abilities is the way they work so hard to correct and improve their skills. They are legendary for their hard work, their industriousness. And so is anyone else you might care to mention who has achieved personal success and competitive greatness. Michael Jordan, Jack Nicklaus, Lance Armstrong, and the list goes on. Business person, clergy, doctor, lawyer, plumber, artist, writer, coach, or athlete all share a fundamental trait if they achieve competitive greatness. They work very hard. It is essential, and only you really know if you're doing it, giving it everything that you've got. Grantland Rice understood this when he wrote How to Be a Champion. You wonder how they do it. You look to see the knack. You watch the foot in action, or the shoulder, or the back. But when you spot the answer, where the higher glamorous lurk, you'll find in moving higher up the laurel-covered spire that most of it is practice and the rest of it is work. So choose work, industriousness, as the cornerstone in the foundation of success. It's called industriousness to make very clear that it involves more than merely showing up and going through the motions. Many people who tell you they worked all day weren't really working very hard at all, certainly not to the fullest extent of their abilities. You can work without being industriousness, but you cannot be industriousness without work, okay? So the only way to achieve success in your business, in GWT, is if you work hard. There is no secret. There is no back door. There is no shortcut. If you work hard and you do so consistently every single day, you will get to the success that you're looking for. Working hard for a couple of days and then not working and then working hard and then not working and only working hard when you feel like it will not lead to success. It has to be continuous and it has to be hard work. Now the question is it worth it? Well, you will work hard for the next 40 hours a week for the next 40 years of your life. The question is, would you prefer that, or would you prefer to work hard for 3 to 5 years and take the next 50 years off? And working hard for 3 to 5 years means consistently working hard day in and day out. The next leadership skill is intentness. Intentness means staying the course. When thwarted, try again. Harder, smarter, persevere relentlessly. Okay? Relentlessly. It is as important as any single point of success. You could say intentness means determination. I could say it means persistence. I could say it means tenacity or perseverance. I will say it is the ability to resist temptation and stay the course, to concentrate on your objective with determination and resolve. Impatience is wanting too much too soon. Intentness doesn't involve wanting something. It involves doing something often for a very long time. The road to real achievement is usually bumpy and long, but you do not give up. You may have setbacks. You may have to start over. You may have to change your method. You may have to go around or over or under. You may have to back up and get another start, but you do not quit. You stay the course. To do that, you must have intentness. Okay? In 1948, John Wooden began coaching basketball at UCLA. Each hour of practice, he worked very hard. Each day, he worked very hard. Each week, he worked very hard. Each session, he worked very hard. For 14 years, he worked very hard and did not win a championship. However, a championship was won in the 15th year, and then another in the 16th, and then he won 8 more championships in the following 10 years. 14 years, no championship. 15th year, championship, and then 8 more championships after that. Be persistent, be determined, be tenacious, be completely determined to reach your goal. That's intentness. If you stay intent and your ability warrants it, you will eventually reach the top of the mountain. What we are saying here is that you are not allowed to quit. You are not allowed to give up. You need to keep going and going and going until you're successful. And what will happen is that one day in your GWT business, after having little to no success, the success will start. And then you will start to grow, and your team will start to grow, and your cycles will start to come in, and you will start to make $500 a week, and you will start to make $1,000 a week, and you will start to make $2,000 a week. You will start to make $3,000 a week. You will start to make $5,000 a week. And for a very long time, you made 0. And all of a sudden, because of all of that hard work, because of the foundation that you were building, you are now able to make as much money as you want. Global wealth trade has reached the point that it has reached today because of the amount of work that Ramin, Sanaz, Nanad, the corporate team, and all of the luxury consultants have been doing for the last 9 years. And that was just the foundation. What is about to happen with this company in the 10th year, 11th year, 15th year, 20th year will blow your mind. And it's all because of the foundation that the company's been building up until this point. And if you understood your business in that same way, you would keep working as hard as you can until that moment where you start to experience success in your business. The next skill that we are talking about in leadership is called initiative. Initiative means making a decision The failure to act is often the biggest failure of all. Initiative means having the courage to make decisions and take action. Simple as that. Keep in mind that we all are going to fail at times. You must understand this and not fear failure. None of us is perfect. But if you're afraid to fail, you will never do the things you are capable of doing. If you have thoroughly prepared and are ready to give it everything you've got, there is no shame if you fail. Nothing to fear in failure. But fear of failure is what often prevents one from taking action, from using initiative. I truly believe that failure to act, lack of initiative, is often the greatest failure of all. A basketball team that won't risk mistakes will not outscore opponents. In fact, the great coach of Purdue, Piggy Lambert, summed it up like this: the team that makes the most mistakes usually wins. He was talking about initiative. He understood the overly cautious and tentative player or team, one who fears making any mistakes, will not ever score a basket or block a shot. This is true both on the court and beyond. Use good judgment based on all available information and then use your initiative. A mistake may occur, but if it is not because of carelessness or sloppiness, poor thinking, or rash judgment, it must be accepted as part of your journey to success. The same is true everywhere in life. Initiate quickly, but not carelessly or in a hurried manner. Okay? As you should advise to anybody under your supervision, be quick, but do not hurry. Initiative is very, very important. Taking action is very, very important. And you should do so in your GWT business as often as you can, as quickly as possible. You will make mistakes. I have made many mistakes in my business. I wish I was perfect, but I'm not, because it's impossible to be perfect. If I was perfect, I probably wouldn't be a human being. I might be a rock, because a rock doesn't evolve and a rock doesn't change. A rock is a rock. But we are human beings. We are not rocks. We evolve, we change, we make mistakes, we learn, we become different human beings. That's what it means to be human. It means to make mistakes, and it means to become better. And so you will make mistakes. But if you're afraid to make that mistake in your business, if you're afraid to do a tour because you're afraid that you might not know what to say, if you're afraid to call somebody on the phone to invite them to see a tour because you're afraid they might say no, if you're afraid to talk to somebody on your team to let them know that what they're doing is not the most recommended way to do something because it may not lead to success, then again, you won't experience the success that you're looking for. Wayne Gretzky, one of the best hockey players in the world, if not the best hockey players in the world, once said, you will miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. And guaranteed, if you are afraid to do something in your business that will lead to success, you should not expect success. That is just the reality. So make a decision and go for it. The next leadership initiative is alertness, which means constantly be aware and observing. Always seek to improve yourself and the team. Personal development is very important. In sports, we see instantaneous adjustments during play. Film, photos, and spotters in the booths with binoculars and computers providing immediate information to coaches and players during the game. This is alertness at the most intense level. Should it be any different with you? There is something going on around us at all times from which we can acquire knowledge if we have alertness. Too often we get lost in our tunnel vision and we don't see the things that are right in front of us for the taking and for the learning. American hero Abraham Lincoln, he had alertness. Mr. Lincoln once said that he never met a person from whom he did not learn something, although most of the time it was something that he should not be doing. But that's also learning, and it comes from your own alertness. Basketball is played between the ears as much as between the lines. This is true in life and in business. Alertness is a potent weapon for a leader or anyone else. A driver who's asleep at the wheel will crash. The same happens to organizations whose leader does not exhibit alertness. What they usually say is, "I didn't see it coming." As you strive to reach your personal best, alertness will make your task much easier. You will see it coming before the competitor does. Be observing constantly, quick to spot a weakness and correct it or use it as the case may warrant. Personal development will allow you to become more alert in your business. Personal development means reading books that will help you to become more aware of the things around you, such as Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, such as How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, to learn like and trust skills that will help you in building relationships. It means reading books like Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki to understand the importance of residual income in business. It means reading books like The Business of the 21st Century to understand the additional benefits of the network marketing and direct sales profession over and above what we may know of it. So again, alertness is always becoming better, always reading, because the more you read, and if you're not a reader, you can listen to audiobooks in your car. There's many ways to learn, but as long as you keep learning, you will expand your field of knowledge and awareness, and you will start to see things that you did not see before. You will start to do things that you could not do before because you were not aware of them. And the only way to become aware of them is to notice everything that's going on around you. Be aware of it. When I first got started in my GWT business, I would sit next to all of the top earners of the company when they were sitting with their guests at a tour, and I would listen, and I would learn stories, and I would see how they spoke to their guests, and I would see their body language. I would listen to their tone of voice. I would listen to the words that they use, and then I would duplicate that. But if I didn't do that, if I wasn't interested in learning and becoming better, if I didn't sit there and just become alert and pay attention to what was going on around me, I would not be able to use the information that I learned from the successful people in the company in order to duplicate that, in order for me to be successful as well. And I know that a lot of the top leaders in global wealth trade do the same thing. Moving on to the next leadership principle is self-control. Self-control means that the control of your organization begins with control of yourself. Be disciplined. It's very important to be disciplined in leadership. Getting to the top even once is not easy. Staying there, many say, is even more difficult. My own experience is that both getting there and staying there present unique and different challenges. To do either requires great self-control. Self-control is most essential for discipline and mastery of emotions. You cannot function effectively unless your emotions are under control. That is why John Wooden did not engage in pre-game pep talks to stir emotions to a sudden peak. Control of the self is difficult when an individual is riled up with emotions. Careless mistakes are likely to occur. It is preferable to create a gradually increasing level of both intensity and achievement rather than trying to create artificial emotional highs. For every contrived peak you create, there is a subsequent valley. And our CEO and founder, Ramin Misgarlu, says all the time that you should avoid high peaks and you should avoid low valleys, okay? Because self-control provides emotional stability and fewer valleys. Therefore, intensity is very much a good tool to use as long as it's controlled focus and directed energy. Self-control makes this possible. When you lose control of your emotions, when your self-discipline breaks down, your judgment and common sense suffer. How can you perform at your best when you are using poor judgment? Self-control both personally and by the team on the basketball court can be very beneficial. You would agree that this gives a team quite an advantage. It can also give you a similar and decisive advantage in competition. Control yourself so others won't have to do it for you. Okay? Again, something that's very, very important in our global wealth trade business is to continually check your emotions. If you're too excited, not a good thing. If you get too excited because of artificial highs, then you will go too low. Now, there's a difference between not getting too excited, and there's a difference between enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is great. You want to be enthusiastic, but to go to an artificial high of losing your emotional abilities is not what we're talking about, okay? Enthusiasm is something you want to do as belief and confidence in your business and not as artificial, okay? So self-control is very, very important. Moving on to the next leadership skill is team spirit. Team spirit means the star of the team is the team. We supersedes me, okay? We supersedes me. Initially, team spirit is a willingness to sacrifice personal interest or glory for the welfare of all, but something in that definition that is not quite right. What's not quite right is willingness. When you stop and think about it, there is a profound difference between making a mere willingness and eagerness. A prisoner on a chain gang may be willing to break rocks to avoid punishment, but how eager is he? You want to work with individuals who are eager to do what's best for the group and for the team, even at the expense of their own personal statistics or gain. Therefore, change willingness to eagerness, and it should stay there. Of course, we all want to do well and receive individual praise. That's fine if the praise comes because your individual effort was something that contributed to the improvement or strength of the group or team, whatever your team is, whether sports, business, family, or community. Praise that comes because of your contribution to the group is the kind of praise that you should value. Team spirit means you are willing to sacrifice personal considerations for the welfare of all. That defines a team player. And you should be constantly looking for people who would make the team great rather than who are just a great player. The difference in the two is usually team spirit. It will make a very, very big difference in your GWT business if you start to, as a leader, if you start to create a culture of everybody working for the success of everybody and not everybody working for their own success. Okay? Moving on to the next leadership skill, we have skill. All right? So skill means what a leader learns after you've learned it all counts most of all. Okay? What a leader learns after you've learned it all counts most of all. You have to know what you're doing and be able to do it quickly and properly. There are players in basketball who are great shooters. Unfortunately, they couldn't get off any shots, so they didn't help the team. There are players who could shoot plenty of shots but couldn't shoot the ball well. You have to do both. You have to be able to shoot the ball and to shoot it well. The ability to do it quickly and properly. Skill means being able to execute all of your job, not just part of it. It is true whether you're an athlete or attorney or a surgeon or sales rep or network marketer, you'd better be able to execute properly and quickly. That's skill. As much as you value experience, and experience is greatly valuable, it's great, it's much better to have a lot of skill and less experience than a lot of experience and very little skill, okay? The range of skills necessary for leadership, of course, differ from what you're doing organization to organization. Those skills required to manage a small business differ from the skills needed to lead a Fortune 500 company, just as the skills needed for coaching basketball are different from those necessary for coaching baseball. But regardless of the specific skills required in a profession, you must master all of them. Mastery of skills requires learning, and it is a good opinion that great leaders are lifelong learners. They also take measures to create an organization that fosters and inspires learning throughout. The most effective leaders are those who realize it's what you learn after you know it all that counts the most. Skill is at the heart of performance at a level of competitive greatness. In your global wealth trade business, you have a lot of skills to learn. And we go over these skills in the boot camp as I trained this past weekend at the boot camp. Just had to take a sip of water there. Some of the skills to master in your global wealth trade business are developing and building like and trust, are approaching, are having conversations with strangers, are presenting the tour, are sharing your 2-minute story, or edification, or understanding how to start a new luxury consultant in their business, or understanding how to train your team. There's a lot of skills that you can learn to be a successful networker. And so if you think that you've learned it all and there's nothing more for you to learn, that's when you need to start learning the most, okay? When you start to understand that regardless of how much you know, you don't know everything, and there's always something new to learn, that's when you will become a great leader, because great leaders always started as great students. Moving on to the next leadership skill is condition. So ability may get you to the top, but character keeps you there, okay? Ability may get you to the top, but character keeps you there. So what this means is that you must be conditioned for whatever you're doing if you're going to do it right, to the best of your ability. There are different types of conditions for different professions. A deep sea diver has different conditioning requirements from a salesperson. A surgeon has different physical conditioning requirements from a food server. You must also have mental and moral conditioning. In fact, you can't attain proper physical condition unless it's preceded by mental and moral condition. How do you attain moral condition? Long lists of rules are the usual prescription, but usually something that's common sense is practice moderation and balance in all that you do. This advice is easy to remember and is also very effective. Some observers believed that players were simply in better physical condition than the competition, and that's why they won. They may have been, but they also had good mental and emotional strengths. You must identify your conditioning requirements and then attain them. Without proper conditioning in all areas, you will fall short of your potential. Of course, all of this comes down to decisions we make individually about how we choose to live our lives. To help remind those people who are under your team that ultimately they, not their upline, are responsible for attaining and maintaining their condition, okay? And something that every person should post somewhere where they can see it is there is a choice you have to make in everything, okay? And the choice that you should make in your GWT business is to keep conditioning yourself every day and in every way that you possibly can. Because somebody might seem better than you, but if you have done the things that you need to do to condition your mind and to condition your emotions, they have no chance in beating you. You have the competitive advantage. The next leadership skill is confidence. The strongest steel is well-founded self-belief. It is earned, not given. Okay? You have to earn your self-confidence. There is perhaps no stronger steel than well-founded self-belief. The knowledge that your preparation is complete, that you have done all things possible to ready yourself and your organization for the competition, whatever form it comes in. This is confidence. Confidence cannot be grafted on artificially. Real abiding confidence, like poise, is earned only by tenaciously pursuing and attaining those assets that allow you to reach your own level of competency, the potential you have within. Okay? Those personal assets are attained and provided by the skills that we have been speaking about today on the webinar in the Pyramid of Success. Confidence must be monitored so that it does not spoil or rot and turn into arrogance. Arrogance or elitism is the feeling of superiority that fosters the assumption that past success will be repeated without the same hard effort that brought it about in the first place. Therefore, you should never get into a game of assuming victory. All opponents have to be respected, none feared. You have to lead and to teach your group and your team to do the same. This reflects confidence, not arrogance. Arrogance will bring you down by your own hands. We see it happen all around us in all areas of life and in this business all the time. Success requires poise and confidence. Both are attained through proper preparation. If you are prepared, if you have planned to do something, if you have taken the time to plan and prepare, that's where your confidence will come from, because of the preparation that you've taken. If you acquire the personal characteristics and values of the leadership skills that we've talked about today, if you study them, if you watch this training over and over again, then you will have prepared for you to be a leader. When you have made the effort to prepare to the fullest extent of your ability, and do not underestimate the great challenge of proper and complete preparation, you will reap the crowning block of the leadership success principles, and will get to the top of the pyramid of success. And the top of the pyramid of success is competitive greatness. Okay? So confidence is very important, and you can achieve that by planning and preparation. The next leadership success principle is poise. Be yourself. Don't be thrown off by events, whether good or bad. Very important. Poise. Poise is being true to oneself, not getting rattled, thrown off, or unbalanced regardless of the circumstance or situation. This may sound easy, but in challenging times, poise can be a most elusive quality. Leaders lacking poise panic under pressure. So does everyone else. Poise means holding fast to your principles and acting in accordance with them regardless of how bad or good the situation may be. Poise means avoiding pose or pretense, meaning comparing yourself to others or acting like someone or something you're not. Poise means having a brave heart in all circumstances. You'll know you possess poise when you achieve what Rudyard Kipling described in his poem written 100 years ago. If you can meet triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same. That's poise. Not being thrown off stride in how you behave or what you believe because of outside events. But how do you acquire poise? In fact, you don't. Poise acquires you. It is part of the harvest you reap near the top of the pyramid of success. In effect, poise is a powerful gift you give yourself when you acquire the skills of leadership that we've been talking about today. And where you find poise, you will also find its valuable companion, which is next to the top of the success principles, which is the value that we spoke about before, which is confidence. So, once you've achieved all of these levels of leadership attributes and skills, you have now reached the top of the pyramid. You are now in competitive greatness. This is how you become a great competitor. This is how you compete. This is how you become the best. When you can perform at your best, when your best is required, your best is required each day. Let me say that again. Competitive greatness means perform at your best when your best is required. Your best is required each day. Competitive greatness is what your aim is. For more than half a century, competitive greatness has been defined as a real love for the hard battle, knowing it offers the opportunity to be at your best when your best is required. That is competitive greatness. Let me say that again. What is competitive greatness? A real love for the hard battle, knowing it offers the opportunity to be at your best when your best is required. The great competitors in the world that great basketball players have played for or coached and admired all shared a joy derived from the struggle itself, from the journey, from the contest. They have done so because only in the supreme effort is there an opportunity to summon your best, a personal greatness that cannot be diminished, dismissed, or derived because of a final score or bottom line. In a view, there is nothing tiresome or trite in the old adage, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. When you try hard to meet the criteria and teach it to others throughout life, at the exact moment when the going gets tough, the thrill of the competition gets going for a leader who has acquired competitive greatness. This is one of the crucial concepts that you can convey to those under you when you're in a position of leadership, namely a true love for the hard battle and the test it provides against a worthy opponent. The hard struggle is to be welcomed, never feared. In fact, when you define success this way, the only thing to fear is your own unwillingness to make the full 100% effort to prepare and perform at the highest level of your ability. If you're a leader, you must teach your team to love the struggle, because only in hard competition will you and they find competitive greatness. Only you and they will find that part of yourself that is greater than you ever thought possible. These success skills were recognized ultimately that they would be used to help those to achieve competitive greatness. And this is something of very high significance. Okay? Hopefully all of you on this call can use the pyramid of success principles that we've talked about today. Okay? Now, as you can see from this chart, in the yellow triangle behind the pyramid, there is something behind the pyramid, and that is faith and that is patience. Faith and patience must be two skills that you need to develop as you use the pyramid of success for your leadership skills and for your leadership abilities, and as you strengthen those skills and abilities. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you re-listen to this webinar. I hope that you re-listen to it. I hope that you take these skills, internalize them, and use them to become a leader, not only for yourself, but for your team. And to have your team listen to this webinar and to develop these leadership skills. When you do that, you will develop a team that will achieve incredible results in the same way that John Wooden won 8 straight championships and his team won 88 consecutive games. That's called leading a team with leadership. That's called leading a team with greatness. That's called achieving competitive greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lior Skaler, Regional Ambassador with your favorite designer fashion house, Global Wealth Trade. This webinar has been recorded and it will be posted. I want to thank you very, very, very much for your time tonight. It's been a pleasure sharing these leadership skills and principles with you, and I would love for you to have a great morning, great afternoon, or great evening wherever you are in the world. Take care. Bye-bye.